Why do you help?
I have never met a Mandalorian. I've only read the stories. If they are true, you will make quick work of it. Then there will again be peace.
Hi, welcome to the 3.5 Walls podcast. I'm Austin Zwiebelman.
I'm Jackson Morrill.
I'm Josh Key.
And today we're going to be reviewing the Dan Argot and Sheena M. Joyce film, Framing John DeLorean.
It's the Tesla truck, right?
It was Elon Musk's ancestors who framed the guy who made the DeLorean to make it look like he was like hiding coke and murdering people.
Yeah, Elon Musk actually went back in time recently to kill the guy, but accidentally manipulated events so that the DeLorean became the icon of Back to the Future. And now everybody thinks his truck is not his original design, even though it was, and time travelers actually went forward in time to steal the Tesla truck's idea, which in the original timeline was a wild success to make the DeLorean in the 80s, but that didn't work out.
Holy shit, this is complicated.
Yeah. Now get this. Elon Musk is a reptile from the center of the Earth.
Oh, not this
Who's
again.
shape-shifting into Mark Zuckerberg.
Is this what I get for saying we're reviewing the wrong thing? Is this my punishment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody.
We're reviewing the Mandalorian.
The man!
We're gonna be reviewing the Disney Plus series The Mandalorian, created and directed and starring and featuring and the CG done by and the sound by Jon Favreau.
Yes, Jon Favreau actually plays everybody in this film, especially Carl Weathers.
And Happy Hogan.
It's being Jon Favreauovich. The famous Charlie Kaufman Star Wars film.
Wait, this is directed by the guy that did Chef?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is directed by the guy who did Swingers.
All right, going on to like a slightly serious note. Jon Favreau did not direct anything in season 1. He was too busy between The Lion King and acting in Avengers Endgame and Spider-Man Far From Home, and I think one other project that he just couldn't get in time to direct an episode of The Mandalorian.
But he's like the showrunner, if I'm not mistaken. His name's plastered all over this thing.
He wrote 6 of the 8 and pitched the story to Star Wars, and I think I don't know if he's credited as executive producer, but was more or less on board with it the whole way through, to some degree.
And this is to my surprise, because this is a sort of lofty endeavor. They just rolled out on November 12th, the Disney Plus streaming service, and they had some pretty negligible launch titles.
The Mandalorian was the only major launch title. Everything else they've been advertising, especially the Marvel Cinematic Universe shows, those have been slated for early next year. They've not. Nothing is out this year.
Are you gonna punk Jeff Goldblum like that?
Yes, he's creeps on women.
What about the movie Noelle with Anna Kendrick and the guy from Barry?
You mean the thing that I'm just now getting ads for, despite the fact that it's been on there this month? No, the only other noteworthy thing on Disney Plus is Tron Uprising and High School Musical, the series. I've told you this.
But, Frozen 2.
Frozen
you can get it on Disney Plus exclusive stores, which are called movie theaters right now. You go there and
Josh,
they give you big comfy
savage.
chairs, and you just sit down and they play Disney Plus on this big screen. It's awesome.
Yeah, they actually have, but unfortunately, Disney throttles any city that airs other films. So every theater here right now is at 720p.
Someday we'll only be showing, Captain America versus Boba Fett on ice. And then the Disney movies will restore our 4K projectors to their former glory.
That's it. Episode 9 is going to be a crossover episode.
Holy shit.
Yeah! Does that mean Solo was the episode 9 all along?
Yeah, I think it does.
Fantastic.
Han Solo joins the MCU.
So
Good job, Alden. We were proud of you. We knew you could do it.
This is sort of slated to be Disney Plus's Super Mario 64 or Disney Plus's Halo Combat Evolved. Mm-hmm. It's the launch title that's going to rope people into subscriptions the way Stranger Things did with Netflix, the way House of Cards did with Netflix, the way TV and in general did for Hulu.
I thought nothing did it for Hulu, and Hulu was really just like every now and then they aired Rick and Morty.
Well, Hulu has a bunch of weird niche shows. Like, enough niche shows that they can conceivably get a niche show for literally everybody.
Can confirm. I watch Future Man.
I watch Homicide Hunter and Ancient Aliens.
That explains a lot.
Well, I watch Ancient Aliens to go to sleep because that's the perfect sleep show. Because you don't want to be watching Ancient Aliens. But it's on the TV, so you just close your eyes and pretend it isn't happening. It's a lullaby.
So, do
like
you guys...
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
big overarching question: did they succeed putting all their chips in on this series about a Boba Fett that's not Boba Fett?
Absolutely.
First off, yes. Second off, please beep the Epstein joke.
No. He didn't kill himself.
So my opinion also is that, yeah, this is a pretty solid reason to get Disney Plus, because not in all of Star Wars' current revival, besides maybe the ending of Rogue One, have I had this much fun with the intellectual property.
Right. It's one of those things where it's the reason I got a Disney Plus. Spoiler alert, pretty much all of us, except for the fact that we downloaded the 4 episodes in 1080, have been mooching off of my Disney Plus, except for your partner, which bought one.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for Stalin.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. I've watched, I think, every princess movie that has ever been made.
With just flashback visuals.
Yeah.
I've seen almost everything that used to be on Disney Channel, and I owned all the Disney stuff on VHS before it was put in the quote-unquote vault.
Yeah.
I have a pirated DVD of Song of the South. I've seen the Disney movies people haven't seen.
Oh, boy.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I had no reason to buy this, and we're thankful that Jackson is such a comrade and let us, have it so that we could stream the one reason everybody watches Disney Plus to watch anything new.
Yeah.
Which is this show about a bounty hunter. So what's The Mandalorian about?
The Mandalorian is about... it's not about a Mandalorian. It's a comedy set around the time of the Jedi Temple, where it's 2 Jedi roommates, a guy and a girl, having to be roommates and having to deal with the fact that they're roommates and not a co-ed department. And they're not allowed to feel feelings for each other. And so it's a bit of a rom-com situation going on there.
Here's the twist.
What's the twist?
One of them's gay.
Whoa!
Oh my god!
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, just a classic goofy 70s comedy about just 2 people whose, sexual attractions sometimes flare up and everybody around them gets into hijinks because, they just can't keep their libido on the down low.
I'm pretty sure that we're just describing Attack of the Clones now.
We're describing the opposite of what Star Wars is, which is just, Star Wars is sexless. It's a sexless void. Where nobody has a penis. I still maintain that the main character of The Mandalorian is dickless, and that's the final episode reveal.
To me, Skywalker had sex with the Tusken Raiders, and it was definitely consensual.
So the Mandalorian is about this bounty hunter who's hanging out on a planet.
Yeah, as planets do.
Getting marks, he gets these pucks with little
holograms.
And this guy, he's just chewing them up, spitting them out. He's just doing the pucks too fast.
Yeah, he's all on pucks. He's high on pucks all the time.
He's doing 6 lines of puck before dinner. Family events, he's just like face deep in a pile of puck. Just like Jabroni Montana. And so he goes to... Who's the guy who plays the guy who calls him Mando?
Carl Weathers. Carl Weathers is in this show. Carl Weathers is kind of like the representative for the Bounty Hunters Guild. And, basically we've been shitposting this whole time. The Mandalorian is about a Mandalorian bounty hunter. Kind of like Boba Fett, kind of like Jango Fett, but cooler because we actually get to see what he does instead of them just getting murked in the movie they appear in for more than 3 seconds.
And
I was a little concerned when he walked into the asshole cave, because you know what happened to, Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Oh
the
god.
other weird.
Oh,
symbol.
He just finds Boba Fett down there. That's what happened. That's why there's Jawas on the planet.
And they do the typical
in...
Disney Star Wars thing where he just goes, "Hi, I've been fine the whole time. I can't wait to be back in the movies again."
No, and then a mudhorn fucking impales him through the chest.
And then it goes completely off the rails into a family sitcom about 2 bounty hunters who wear Mandalorian armor.
Neither of them really Mandalorian.
Yeah, and then the twist is that one of them's gay.
We can't keep making this joke.
I thought you were about to describe the plot to the Wayne's brother film, White Chicks.
No, it's the plot to every bad sitcom that's ever been made. Baby.
So basically, we haven't described a single second of the show, and we're 10 minutes in.
We got to Carl Weathers. So this guy is just got a massive puck addiction.
Yeah.
And he goes to Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers is just like, well, all I've got is dirty Nazi money. And the Mandalorian's like, fuck, I can't even buy gas. So Carl Weathers is like, well, there's been word around the galaxy that there's some German dude here who used to make documentaries.
And who do we find else but the client, played by some random guy they pulled off the street that's probably
total nobody.
hallucinating.
Absolute just like fucking freak that they dragged out of a homeless shelter. Werner Herzog.
And that's who they credited. I've never heard of this guy before.
Director of Bad Lieutenant 2, Port of Call, New Orleans, with Nicolas Cage. And, you know, Fitzcarraldo and Orgira, Wrath of God, who gives a fuck. But he goes to Werner Herzog, who's hanging out with... This is post-Empire, right?
Yes, this is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and so what little power the Empire has is really just relegated to Imperial warlords, which is actually brought up a little... Like an episode later, one of them is talking about just hunting down Imperial warlords. This is one of them. Who fucking the client is just an Imperial warlord, and he's got these stormtroopers that look like they've been drugged through hell and have barely functioning weapons.
They look like they've been through the opening scene of Saving Private Ryan, and somehow they costume managed to put dirt and shit on these people's stormtrooper costumes so that they look like the tracking shot in Path of Glory where what's his name? The old guy that's still alive somehow? Kirk Douglas.
Kirk Douglas.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas walks through the trench in World War I, and then all these, like, haggard-looking French dudes are looking at him like, oh, no. Mm-hmm. And then they go over the top and they'll get killed.
Yeah.
That's what these stormtroopers look like. They look like they're about to go over the top in World War I.
They managed to look both tired and upset in the costume design for something that's usually kind of a pretty impassive face. Which is impressive.
And they look like bad motherfuckers, too. Like,
yeah.
They actually look intimidating, unlike any other iteration of Stormtrooper.
I think a part of that is because we know the Mando is pretty powered normal for Star Wars. If he were in real life, he would definitely be really OP. But the position he's at in the universe, he's kind of drug under. We've actually got one of the episodes just kind of playing silently in the background. He's getting his ass kicked by a really big dog.
He's getting his ass kicked by a monster who looks like something you'd farm in World of Warcraft for, like, experience points mindlessly as your ass develops, like, fucking cysts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's, so he's not a main character from a mainline movie, so he doesn't have the Force. He can't just, like, fucking use hacks on stormtroopers. Like, he's not as powerful as someone who would wield a lightsaber. So stormtroopers, you know, cornering him in a room isn't just a goofy farce where, you know, they're going to end up shooting all over the place and missing him, and he's going to just, you know, make them Wilhelm scream all over the place.
Now, noted, he is badass. He likes the odds of him going up against 4 stormtroopers and thinks that he's can take them.
Yeah, he's got lip.
Notably, the stormtroopers also feel like they have a chance, which is very different from Star Wars media.
Yeah, the stormtroopers actually hit him.
Yeah.
With their blasters.
Not that it matters, because by the time they do, he has Beskar. But...
Yeah.
So he goes to Werner Herzog, who is this underground ex-Nazi warlord dude.
Probably still a Nazi.
He's got this big pimp chain with the black sun on it, too.
It's not the black sun, it's the Imperial symbol.
The Imperial symbol is the Nazi symbol for the black sun, I think.
The black sun symbol is slightly different. It's in Solo.
It's basically the same thing.
It's the same thing.
And it's like this big pimp chain with like the...
Right. An interesting detail that a lot of people are latching onto is that the weird guy with glasses, which I think this is the first time we've seen somebody with glasses in Star Wars. No, I take that back. Maz Kanata has them, but they're weird sci-fi glasses.
Yeah, they're like
just
goggles.
normal-ass glasses.
Yeah.
Some people are saying the symbol on his shoulder looks like the Camino symbol from Attack of the Clones, which that's the second time we brought up Attack of the Clones. If we hit 3, I get a free pizza.
Pizza time.
And so... And so people are speculating that they're trying to clone Baby Yoda. We'll see how much that comes to fruition. I think after these first 3 episodes, it's pretty safe to say that we might be going in a more serial direction with the series. But as of the time of recording, only half of this series is out. 5 hits on Friday. This podcast will be out either on Friday or the day after. And from there, you can kind of guess when we're recording this.
And so generally, Werner Herzog is in a room with this guy who's on a penultimate quest to fuel his ship with gas.
Yes.
And Werner Herzog's like, I will give you the job. It is a dangerous job.
As such, if the baby dies, it dies. And then Glasses Man is scared. And so there's a lot of interesting, like, little story beats that are tiny but play into these interactions that come to a head at the end of the episode. But he gives him a down payment of Beskar steel, which those familiar with Star Wars lore know is the sacred iron only found on Mandalorian, what makes Mandalorian armor.
It's this movie, or this
might as well be a movie. We watched like 2.5 hours of it.
And it looks really great. The TV show has sort of one of those, like, it's like a video game kind of thing, where I guess collecting Beskar steel is one of the main quests. And you watch him kind of do it gradually. I think that he has... fuck it. So he goes on this mysterious quest, meets Pigman Nick Nolte on a planet.
That's his official name, by the way, Pigman Nick Nolte. If you've heard any name for this Ugnaught, you're wrong. It's just Pigman Nick Nolte.
After some shenanigans, he eventually finds a Baby Yoda. And here we are at where everybody is, because have you guys heard about just the media sort of saturation of Baby Yoda in the last 3 weeks?
Yes, it's been nothing but memes, and I love it.
We absolutely could not. We could have just started at the end of episode 1, and everybody would already understand, would be caught up on what we're talking about.
There's still some things I want to touch on back in episode 1, but I'll wait for you to finish. Sorry, I interrupted you.
There was this amazing thing that happened where sort of Disney like captured its essence in this quagmire that is wanting to make an interesting Star Wars title, because my opinion, stone cold opinion, is Star Wars would be better if it was R-rated. And that's because I'm a fucking Artur dude. I want movies to be visceral. As visceral as possible, but this is a Disney property. Star Wars is a kid's film. You cannot escape the fact Star Wars is for kids. So, they combined the two like peanut butter and jelly. They got the most ruthless badass in all of Star Wars, a Mandalorian, and they gave him a sidekick who is a little baby.
He's a baby.
So the whole, like, gritty Star Wars meeting the childlike whimsy is personified in these two people. These two aliens.
Right.
And that's sort of perfect for me, because it represents the stark contrast between what Star Wars could be if it was not Star Wars, and what Star Wars is to most everybody who's not delusional.
I guess. Do you watch The Expanse?
I don't watch The Expanse. That's the sci-fi show everyone's been recommending to me, right?
You probably should if you want really, really gritty Star Wars.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Well, looping back to a couple of things that are important. First of all, we have a Taika Waititi cameo. He's actually directing the season finale of Season 1, which will air December 27th. And, of course, he had a cameo as IG-11, an assassin droid that storms the end of Episode 1.
He voiced IG-11?
Yes. Not just Rick and Morty cameo, but the Mandalorian cameo as well.
Taika Waititi's having a great time on peak TV right now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's playing outside of his type compared to Korg, too. You Want to Develop an App was just kind of like an odd guy.
Gluty.
Yeah, Gluty. And then there's IG-11, which is very much a droid. And they get the comedy out of the fact that he's played straight. And the Mandalorian suddenly becomes the comedy sidekick after being the stoic badass the whole episode.
Yeah.
The writers really understand the funny Batman idea.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, the Mandalorian is such a dead serious character and can never not be dead serious that anything absurd around him at all makes it just instantly funny.
Like the fact that this guy IG-11 just has a thermal detonator in his fucking chest that he keeps priming. It's like, no, do not self-destruct.
It's like an actively suicidal robot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's played as if it has in-universe reasons and everything, which makes it even funnier that it keeps insisting on this.
No, please, let me kill myself!
It reminds me of, like, a weird von Neumann probe, where, like, you see this sometimes in weird sci-fi where there's... The idea of a von Neumann probe is that it's like a probe aliens send out to explore the galaxy, and their mission is to make copies of themselves so they can exponentially go out and potentially explore the galaxy really fast.
Right.
But then they inevitably have a software bug that makes them just want to replicate more than explore, and they end up taking over the entire universe.
Oh, so it's like nanobots, but big.
But they're always portrayed as an idiot, like IG-11 is, that's so focused on their programming of replicate that they just completely ignore all human logic. Or anything that you would expect from the situation.
Oh, for sure.
But instead of replicate, IG-11's programming is to kill itself.
I mean...
If you get the opportunity, you should kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, keep dumping it. Also, one thing that I kind of want to touch on is that at the end of the episode, IG-11 insists that the target is supposed to be captured dead, and we see the standoff between the client and Dr. Pershing, I think is the glasses guy's name, where Dr. Pershing enters the room, and suddenly the client seems kind of annoyed and changes tact, and then says they want the target alive, which Pershing is the one who insists on it alive, and then the client makes a very specific, and I'm not kidding, the Werner Herzog's character name is credited as the client.
Right.
Which is very Kurosawa of the show, and I love it. But it's, sorry, I'm distracted by an action scene going on in the background. He makes the point to state that he wants the target alive, but if it is dead, he will pay a lesser fee for a dead target. And then this bounty hunter, IG-11, is saying that he was very clear about the target being brought back dead. So it's very clear he doesn't want the target alive, and this is a nice twist on everything, because then we see, starting in episode 2, all the bounty hunters that are storming after Baby Yoda just really want to fucking slice this thing in half. There's a Trandoshan that ignores Mando and makes a fucking bull rush for the little egg that Baby Yoda's in to spear it to death with a fucking axe.
Or there's another client out there that wants it dead.
The intent is that the guild gave out hundreds of the fobs, and I'm interpreting the hundreds of fobs as it is the one client giving out all of these fobs because he really wants this thing before anyone else.
I think there's something more to this that it hasn't got to, personally, because I think that's like a tiny bit of a stretch. Like, he's just telling all these bounty hunters, like, like the other guy's not in the same room, and Werner Herzog's just like,
bring it back dead.
Bring its body back to me.
I want it missing its head so that he can't be manipulated by the adorable eyes.
And then the other guy's just like, I heard that, Werner. And like...
They just call him Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
In the fucking thing.
I have seen what this thing does to Twitter.
I have seen the memes.
Like, oh my god,
he's
Deadpool.
Did you guys hear when Disney wanted to start, copywriting and like banning images circulating around the web of Baby Yoda as a way to like sort of make people forced to watch The Mandalorian to see Baby Yoda at all?
Oh god.
That was actually an order from Werner Herzog. In real life, he wants Baby Yoda dead. He's just on set, like, trying to kill, like, the puppet.
Oh my god. That's why he's only in 2 episodes.
Right. He did bully the production team into only using the puppet. It was, they were considering filming 2 of each shot, one with the puppet and one without, so they could just CGI it. Werner heard this, stormed up to the team, and basically just bullied them and shamed them into using only the puppet. And it fucking works.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's touches of CG over it, but I think the fact that it's a puppet comes through and really sells the tone of this script. Because it would have been slightly more distracting if it was CGI.
One thing I really got to say about this, I fucking hated Yoda in The Last Jedi. I thought Yoda looked stupid.
It was a puppet.
Yes. But in this, when they have the puppet for Nick Nolte Pigman,
yeah.
and Baby Yoda, those puppets look fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, they don't look like those, like, weird Japanese Disney World puppets that are, like, flawless animatronics.
After all.
Yeah, they don't look like the Terminators that Japan is building whenever they do animatronics. They just look like 70s puppets, but operated by, like, really talented people. So any of the flaws in there are endearing. It reminds me of, like, hand-drawn animation, like the feelings I feel about that.
Exactly. Like, the lip flaps are not perfectly synced with Nick Nolte's lines, but you still get them.
Yeah.
Part of the charm of the original series of Star Wars that I think Baby Yoda really captures is that you're not immersed, like, fully into thinking this is real life. You're, like, aware that this is a fantasy, but it's, like, someone telling you about this really cool story idea they have, and you get to see it realized with a bunch of, like, cheap props and stuff. And I think the series really captures it. And we're watching it right now, and I'm looking, there's, like, the CG IG-11.
Yeah.
And it's, like, not as cool as, like, the really obvious puppet Baby Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
Where the CG... this show also, like, just doesn't have the budget to have believable CG.
Right. I think the budget per episode is on par with Game of Thrones. When I checked the total budget, it split out to roughly $125 million per episode because there's only 8 episodes of the show on a budget of X amount. I don't fucking remember. But regardless, it's just kind of one of those things where Yeah, the CG is notably of lower quality because they're operating on a reduced budget and a reduced timescale since it's not a film. But regardless, it works really well. Like, I wasn't drawn out after I kind of set my expectations. The first speeder in episode 1 is noticeably CG, but I kind of took a second, I paused it, and said, okay, this is not going to be film quality the whole way through. There are TV-grade shortcuts that they had to deal with, and that's okay. And from there on, totally immersed. I did not mind that the CG is of lower grade than watching a Star Wars movie.
I think it looks fine, and I'm the one in the group who does the CG for all of our videos.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I think part of the reaction against CG is because of the prequels and the technology wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays we have like the processing power to make CG that looks pretty good on a lower budget or in volume, really in a reasonable amount of time.
Believe it or not, this is an interesting way people have been doing robots in movies for the last like half of the decade.
Mm-hmm.
They build a real puppet that looks like the robot, and a majority of the CG work is removing the actor and then doing minor enhancements on the robot.
And that's what they did with IG-11. I'm
Right.
pretty sure, because you could tell that it's like lit for real.
They had
And they have something to work with.
Even you can.
They had a stand-in and an actor doing it, but they did the same technology that they had for Rogue One to do K2SO, where they could do preliminaries with Unreal Engine on the green screen.
You can light almost anything for real because any competent VFX supervisor will have objects on scene, the mirror ball to capture the HDRI for the environment, and a reference thing so that you can get the lighting definitely to any degree. Maybe like a color card or something, like that weird little fucking thing photographers use. But you can use a variety of things so that they can know exactly what type of lighting they're going to have to program into the setup on whatever software Disney people use. I want to say that they're all using Maya still, but, fuck it.
Yeah.
ILM, I don't know, because ILM's been around for so long. ILM might have either something really old that they've just updated themselves, or it might be proprietary.
When I saw the behind-the-scenes stuff for the prequels, they were using Maya, the Autodesk program.
Oh, wow.
Not that anybody gives a fuck listening to this, but it's... The thing visually is very good. I noticed that they kept doing this thing because people always want to do that thing where they're like, it's like a Western or it's like a noir film. Like whenever there's something that comes out like this, where it can't really stand on its own legs, people always want to compare it to like genre films of the past. Right. And the one I hear the most often for this in takes is it's a Western. And the most Western thing I've seen about it is they keep doing that thing from the end of The Searchers with John Wayne.
Yeah, the shot where he's looking over dramatically at a desert sunset.
And he's in the frame of a door because he can't, he's a cowboy and he's stuck being outside.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that image suggests is, he can't come inside because he's a fucking ruthless Indian, fucking native killer.
Pretty sure that's just, straight up the plot idea behind the 4th episode, which we'll get to. But we're taking our sweet-ass time describing these episodes. We're looking at the longest podcast ever.
Can we not?
No, we'll start blazing through these. Essentially, the plot follows. Episode 2 is literally just a filler episode where he goes on a side quest after a bunch of Jawas just strip his ship of all the parts. So he climbs the tank and gets electrocuted off.
Oh my god. He goes man mode. He just runs up, and his reaction to seeing them run away like a bunch of hicks that just stole the tires off your car is to chase after them after shooting their thing with a big gun, and then climb up the side of it while they throw random bits of junk off out of the windows, like he's climbing a medieval wall and this is a siege.
Right.
Until he gets to the top finally after killing dozens of Jawas.
I think his
and
body
then they all
count
just
on
shoot
them
him.
is... I think his actual body count is 4 or 5 Jawas, because he disintegrates 3, throws 1 out a window, and there might be 1. No, 5. Yeah, because he tosses 1 off of the top.
He kills about as many, toddler-looking things as your typical E. coli outbreak from Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
dear God.
and then their ion blasters that they had in episode 1 that just are used to electrocute droids. Apparently 10 of them will tase a human unconscious.
It's very funny just watching him stand there oh fuck, and then just fall.
He falls off the thing and then he just gets up because he's fine. That's why part of why I love this show. It's not afraid to just go full cool.
Yeah, it's also based in Star Wars, so there's a history of this happening, and it's not afraid to embrace that. And a lot of what makes this show very charming is its integrated history with Star Wars, starting with the fact that it is a Mandalorian. They've been in the lore since 1980 with The Empire Strikes Back.
I thought it was the Star Wars Holiday Special.
It was the Holiday Special.
All of the show draws back to the Holiday Special.
Yes.
It starts with the Life Day joke.
There was a Life Day joke in the first 10 minutes.
At Chewie's family house, if you look on their bookshelf in like the little HG remaster of the 16mm film they filmed on, you can see a book mentioning the Knights of Ren, even though chronologically it's set before the new movies.
Nobody...
And they have a little statue of Snoke.
They burned every print of that thing. The Holiday Special does not exist outside of YouTube and pirating. There is no physical release. I think it was on VHS for a very limited time, and then George Lucas forced them to pull it.
Yeah.
Why do you think they got Werner Herzog? He has the only surviving copy in his fridge.
I watched like 80% of the Holiday Special with a mutual friend of all of ours, Jimmy. And his girlfriend made us turn it off before like the last 30 minutes because she couldn't take the fact that we were sitting there and engaging with this anymore.
It's because Megan cares about his soul.
Yeah.
You just care about his mind.
I'm trying to make him see God.
Anyways, the side quest that is the second episode, it also involves like kind of kiddie slapstick, but executed in a way that's really horrifying if you have any sense of empathy, like little kids don't.
Oh, you're talking about him and his fight with the
rhino.
Yeah,
it's called
Paul Giamatti from Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Basically, like Pig Nolte just tells him to be a fucking functional human in society and just trade with the Jawas rather than try to kill them all. Like, literally all of the Jawas to take his parts back.
And he still pulls an Elon Musk and reminds them he has a flamethrower.
Yeah, he
Baby Yoda eats a frog, but that is marginally more important.
But basically, they want an egg, and they're all really excited about this egg.
Suka.
It sounds like they're shouting sugar.
It does.
Because Jawas are little kids, apparently, and they tell him to go into this cave that looks like an asshole.
I have written down in episode 2, they want an egg, so they send the Mando to the store. That's the only note I have about episode 2.
The store is an asshole that is a cave, and he goes in.
That holds Paul Giamatti.
And then, it has...
Paul Giamatti from Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Rhino.
The lead character from Sideways comes out.
He has to fight a rhino, and he gets covered in mud, so his guns don't work, and he's like really screwed, and he's fighting it with like a switchblade. God,
I would hate to be the stunt guy just being Pedro Pascal throughout that scene, who just is coated in fucking mud. That's one thing I can't stand is mud. I would not want to be there. Also, I feel bad for whoever had to clean the costume after that.
It's the way the entire thing's choreographed is like, on the one hand, it's kind of slapstick where he's just getting knocked around by a giant rhino. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, it makes me want to look for the Live Leak icon in like the bottom right. Because it looks like a weird like Live Leak Matador video. Yeah, I will say it proves that this Mando ain't shit compared to a lot of Legends lore Mandos. One of my favorite stories and story series in Star Wars is by Karen Traviss, set during the Clone Wars. It's Republic Commando, and it's about these elite clone troopers that were trained by hard-ass Mandalorians. Like this guy, but 10 times as cool. Everything about this guy sucks compared to the Mandalorians in these stories, and it was really throwing me off for a while, and it's just I kind of had to accept, like, alright, this is a different take on Mandalorians that's intended to be a little more grounded and a little SOP. But I still maintain that those are some of my favorite depictions, and if you really like Mandalorians, those books and stories are worth reading. But yeah, that's my deep dive into Star Wars. This guy ain't shit compared to them. He gets his ass kicked, and his armor... part of the joke is that he didn't want to trade his armor for the ship parts, and then all of his armor gets fucked up by this rhino at the end of it. Except for the two parts that are already Beskar. And he could have saved a lot of time and a lot of broken ribs just trading his armor for the parts.
But they might have wanted his helmet, which would have been fucked.
Yeah. That's true. He would have just killed them all if they even dared ask, I think.
Yeah, he has to prove to them he has a flamethrower anyway, which, by the way, this is the least effective flamethrower in history.
It's like a video game flamethrower. It
takes 3 episodes to even fucking do anything.
Yeah, he's just consistently using the flamethrower in the first 2 episodes, and it does about the same thing as just, like, I don't know, hitting him with one of those like fucking batons from Ultimate Warrior. Like everyone just shrugs it off. It's useless.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the entire time, Baby Yoda is following him in a floating stroller.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Death Stranding.
It's kind of like a something you look at and think is cool, but then if you think, oh, I would never put my kid in that thing, what if it runs out of batteries?
Well, Baby Yoda's stroller is actually the most OP vehicle, and when they ultimately dispatch it, just like go do away with it, I felt really bad because that thing could go do interplanetary, but they could do hyperspeed. I mean, they just really didn't explore how the thing had no clip enabled.
Yeah. Basically, though, Baby Yoda watches, and it turns out, big twist, Baby Yoda can use the Force because the Mandalorian gets his ass kicked, and Baby Yoda saves his ass.
It's the ending of Saving Private Ryan where Tom Hanks is doing the thing where he's holding the gun up at the tank, and he still wins,
And then to thank Baby Yoda, he sells him to Werner Herzog.
For Beskar, I'd say it's a pretty fair trade.
A massive amount.
But we're skipping the 80s montage here.
There is a montage of him going back to Pig Nolte and saying we need to trade, and then the actual walking through. But it's cool and all that, and then finally gets the thing. There is the montage of rebuilding the ship, that's what awesome.
I was talking about.
Okay, yeah, I missed a step.
This show has for awards. Has best forging sequences as its best forging sequences of the decade. Mm-hmm. Maybe even the millennium at this point.
Oh no!
Since 2000, because you can't beat Conan the Barbarian.
Right. I mean, this comes close.
It does come close. Where not Nick Nolte, Pig Nolte, and the Mandalorian just go full-on contractor electrician and start welding the ship back together into perfect condition. And it works on the first try when they first try to turn it on.
Which kind of plays into Ugnaughts lore. They are known to just work in mechanical environments all the time. The first time we saw them in lore, they were basically making Cloud City run on Bespin. So they're technologically oriented, so I'm sure Pig Nolte felt right at home. That said, it's kind of goofy to me because the Mandalorian does fucking nothing the whole time except reshape his armor.
Also, Nick Man Pig Nolte usually doesn't like to repeat himself, so if the ship didn't work on the first try, it would be out of character.
I have spoken. And then throw his wrench at the ship and leave in disgust.
I think he would say, I've spoken. He throws the wrench at it, and it starts up miraculously.
Oh yeah, his little quirk is that he says, I have spoken, when he wants to end a conversation like a fucking boss. I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah.
And then we're sort of back to the,
After some fucking savages just chop the top up of an egg and just
Oh yeah, the Jawas. You remember how they were saying sugar, sugar? They literally eat the egg right in front of him after he gets his ass kicked by this thing.
Legendary bounty hunter goes on a side quest, almost gets killed, risks his life, Deus Ex Machina, stakes couldn't be higher, and it's just so that these sand people can get high.
It reminds me of The Witcher 3.
It is a side quest
played
from
the first two. I've read the books, and I think this Mandalorian is really spot on at Star Wars adaptation of Geralt of Rivia, but especially with the big weird monster hunting sequence and stuff. This is the perfect Witcher side quest.
Oh yeah.
The hero has something weird happen to him from weird people and meets weird people along the way. Gets his ass kicked by a weird monster until something weird happens that saves him, and goes back. And it turns out to have been for a completely pointless reason, because the people that he delivers the egg to just get high off of it in front of him in the most disgusting way possible.
Yeah.
He just looks at them, and the cinematography in this show is so good because they managed to light it in just the right way that his helmet looks like he's just utterly both perplexed and disgusted.
Oh yeah.
They play with light and shadows a lot to emulate, where the eyebrows would be or how the face muscles would move. And it's a really clever trick. That's a Disney money.
And it's very cool in the show because we never see Pedro Pascal's face. So this helmet is his face, and they managed to make it so effective in a way that I don't think has quite occurred in film. I'd say the closest that has happened is fucking Halo Machinima.
I wouldn't take a survey of all of film, Mr. I don't know what a David Fincher movie is.
Yeah, well.
But how many films actually just are ballsy enough to have the star, who's actually like a name, never show their face?
That's totally fair. Yeah, there
Aside
aren't that
from
many
Darth
movies I know
Vader,
of.
Star Wars is really the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I can't think of any movies where the main character's in a helmet the whole time, except Frank. There was this Michael Fassbender movie where he plays the leader of a cult who always has a weird head thing on. It's like a costume. Check that out. It's actually pretty all right. It's got some really good sort of Jim Morrison-y sounding music.
I'll add it to the list.
So he goes back to the hub world.
Yep.
Yeah.
He goes to get his next mission statement and to get his XP.
And they give him like 10 rare candies. And so he goes back to the forge. And all these haters.
Oh yeah, he sells Baby Yoda.
Yeah, he sells Baby
to
Yoda.
a creepy old German.
And
who's probably an ex-Nazi.
Definitely an ex-Nazi. There's a weird...
Not even an ex-Nazi. He's wearing like the Star Wars equivalent of a swastika on a big pimp gold chain.
Yeah. I will say that he has a line that initially I kind of read as just like, let's get the galaxy to where it was pre-Empire. But now that I've watched it again and kind of like thought about it, I definitely read it as a threat, where he says it is good to restore the natural order of things after a period of such disarray. 5 years after the Empire fell, which is scary. Right. The implications of what he wants to do with this fucking Babel Drivist.
This is going to have to tie into the First Order.
But I
hope so, but not really.
In an absolute, just like, yeah, like if Star Wars Episode 7 was 2.7 for you, this is Episode 6.001.
Oh, yeah. No, it's incredible. One thing that I do have noted about Episode 3 before we move too far in is, as I'm a nerd that has a lot of toys, I've noticed that the Stormtroopers have an array of blasters that are organized from different times. There's the common E11, which is just what they had in the movies. But there's a few that are from Rogue One. There's like a pistol from Rogue One that one guy holds with two hands, despite the fact that it's a pistol. And then one has like the Shore Trooper big blaster. I know, I'm boring you. You hate it.
They're based on real guns, which are cooler than fake guns.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian's blaster pistol is based on an obscure pistol from... what was it, 1896? That was like the competitor to the
Mauser,
the C96 Mauser that Han Solo's blaster was based on.
You look like you're gonna shit yourself just listening to us talk about guns for a minute.
Yeah, it's cool. They got there's a lot of weird old timey guns. Like his cool rifle is a break action gun.
Yeah.
Or a breech loader gun with a bayonet on it that he uses to stab people.
Actually only uses it to electrocute, but yeah, it really is just a breech loader.
Oh, it's for kids. You can't... Oh, he would totally stab one of those Jawas.
Oh, he absolutely would.
It would be really funny.
Oh, yeah. We advocate for torturing Jawas. That's just kind of our thing. Austin, what's your level of engagement with Star Wars per the norm, would you say?
I've seen all the movies that they released in the theaters.
Okay. So basically anything we're talking about is way too much for you.
I just can't get on that nerd shit. I know the video games are something I'm personally behind on and all the lore from them, but anybody who's read a Star Wars book needs to like fucking reevaluate their priorities.
I would say I appreciate that, but I have read more enriching fiction than you ever will.
I don't know. Do you have 5 minutes to talk about our Lord and Savior David Foster Wallace? I want to just throw up a red flag here. Just this copy of Infinite Jest I slam on the table.
You can't slam Infinite Jest on a table; it'll break it.
So he trades Baby Yoda for this is a pro classic just like gamer move. They give him infinite armor. They give him just like level 99 armor in exchange for just shutting the fuck up and never coming back to bother them, right? And they wheel off this baby to go do Nazi shit to it. And unfortunately, they found the one Mandalorian in all of time who, I guess, has a conscience or something.
Yeah.
So, pro gamer move, they gave him all the buffs that you could ever need to never worry about going into a firefight. And then he gets the bright idea, lo and behold, to use this armor that they inadvertently gave him to go back and take the baby.
Yeah, they forge him a new set of armor,
Yeah.
which part of me was upset when I first saw this episode. I was hoping there would be more sense of progression of him getting more pieces of armor throughout the show before
Nope.
at the end he has a full-on. But no, episode 3, they're just like, yeah, fuck you, he has full Beskar now.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because they fucked up the costume in episode 2.
Yeah, I'm sure they had enough to, like, reasonably fuck it up and still go back for any reshoots, but still.
You also needed them to present him with an amount of Beskar that would allow any person in the room who wasn't a space Nazi to give up Baby Yoda to space Nazis. Because they emphasize in the first episode one little, like, fucking cell phone's worth of Beskar, and he's just, like, big pimpin', like, you know, he's in the money, his money real good right now.
He gets a new pauldron and some is reserved for the foundlings, as it should always be.
And then, you know, and they're, like, talking him up. They're like, holy shit, payday. And then they give him, like, 40 of them when he trades off Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and then Heavy Weapons Guy tries to bully him over it.
Yeah, it's like when you're playing like a video game, and then there's like a quest with 2 different endings, and each ending gives a different reward. But you like go and you take one reward and you like look up the guide and see what to do to get the other one at the same time if there's any exploits, and then the guide just says, yeah, you could just go back and take the baby, like they're still there. And he's like, sure, I'll have my cake and eat it too. All I have to do is kill a bunch of stormtroopers.
It's the wholesome version of, like, getting services from a hooker and then killing her to take the money back in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So yeah, after he gets cold feet on, you know, selling a baby to a character Werner Herzog plays.
He was offered to go to the Twi'leks healing baths.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Carl Weathers told him to go to like
Go to the stripper, the titty massage place.
the titty massage place, or do a bunch of drugs until he forgets about the last 3 days.
Yeah,
Your
he's just
Kamatone of spice.
Yeah.
He just tells him to Charlie Sheen it up. Just like, dude.
And then the Mandalorian is
He
he's all
does
like,
decide to go to the titty bar.
he presses X to say nothing and leaves, and then he feels kind of bad for, you know, selling a baby. So he just goes back to the place where the stormtroopers are and kills everyone.
But we also realize he has fucking game-breaking hacks. He can hear through walls.
Yeah, his helmet has like thermal vision, and then it's also somehow able to hear Werner Herzog's voice be like, do the evil thing.
I
Yes,
don't
with the
want to
baby.
do the evil thing.
I cannot guarantee this baby will be safe from molestation.
Yeah.
So Epstein is on his way.
Prince Andrew said after I sent him the picture that it looks a little too old. But
I'd just like to take a moment here to point out that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in prison and didn't actually kill himself. And that if Jeffrey Epstein did see Baby Yoda, he would
try to fuck it.
I mean,
he would let people in power that didn't want him to testify against them fuck it.
Absolutely.
And take pictures so he could blackmail them.
To be fair, everyone's horny for Baby Yoda. Those stormtroopers' cock plates were like perfectly fine in the first episode, but the second episode, they're poking forward as soon as Baby Yoda's in the room for some reason.
I don't think they're thinking of fucking Baby Yoda. I think they're thinking of utilizing Baby Yoda as a tool. You know? Like, they're not evil like Jeffrey Epstein evil, okay?
Okay, yeah.
They're just stormtroopers.
They're just space Nazis.
Yeah, space Nazis have nothing on the insidious international pedophile ring of billionaires.
Yeah.
We've
Anyways, like, he goes through, and it's like a really cool stealth sequence where he goes through, and it's like, I was thinking about like a Deus Ex game or something where he's going cover to cover and blasting stormtroopers before they have a chance to really react, which was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And well done. He also burns a stormtrooper to death, proving that stormtrooper armor is fucking useless.
Yes.
Not only does he knock them out with one punch, so it doesn't follow the whole, oh, it protects against blunt force trauma theory. He burns one to death, so it doesn't even protect against environmental hazards.
Yeah, he makes a toasted marshmallow out of a stormtrooper, and we just get a shot of Baby Yoda as this is happening that just says in the corner, Baby Yoda will remember this.
This is a very video game inspired show.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I cannot remember what at all. There was a game listed as like a potential inspiration on TV tropes, but I don't remember it. It might have been one of the post episode 6 Jedi Academy games, but I don't think so. The more I look at it, regardless, I mean, it's still fantastic. And he does tank blaster shots now and then. One thing that I will say, I feel like they're not making full use of the fact that Beskar is blaster-proof in lore, because occasionally he tanks a shot, but he's always afraid to get shot and is dodging blaster bolts more often than tanking a shot or two for an advantageous position. And when he does expose parts of himself, they're rarely pinged or anything.
Well, the problem is that it doesn't cover his full body plate armor. Like, he could still get hit in a spot that's just covered by, like, the jumpsuit that he's wearing underneath it or whatever.
And
which is just, like, felt.
Back when Mandalorians weren't being purged by the Empire for their danger, they actually did implement Beskar weave into the fabric, so even those parts were blaster proof. And there were like 2 or 3 total weak points over the whole costume. But still, I think popping up above like the edge, a shot or two would ping off the helmet since it's such an obvious target.
You can't see him taking advantage of it. Like, we're watching through the scene right now, actually, as it's playing. When he busts through the door, he does it in a way that he knows, like, if he faces a reaction shot, he could tank it. Yeah. He fights as if he is wearing armor, but he doesn't fight as if he's invincible.
Right.
Like, he's willing to take risks, but because he could probably take it, but it does seem like if he gets shot in the wrong place, he will, like, go down.
So during the stealth sequence, he makes good on his whole 4 versus 1 threat from earlier, where he says, I like those odds, while they're trying to intimidate him.
Yeah.
And that's generally kind of how that sequence ends.
Technically, he had a Deus Ex Machina with the whistling birds.
No, because it didn't come from God. It was already on him.
Are you saying you wouldn't consider the female blacksmith Mandalorian a goddess of her own right?
No. I just think doesn't Deus Ex Machina mean the God machine? Like it's from out of
God
nowhere.
from the machine, yes.
Right. And it's like he went in there knowing that he had that equipped, but that's like semantics and shit.
I would maintain it's an OP weapon that doesn't really have a precedent for existing. It just does.
For the first time in the series, he's killed someone who's not got a bounty on their head, which activates John Wick mode.
Oh yeah, and then it becomes John Wick 3 in Star Wars.
Yeah, and he walks around like he's fucking Putin. Just has the gun hand ready.
If you watch videos of Vladimir Putin walking around, he never moves his right hand, and it's always at his side. And that's actually from KGB training, so he's always ready to draw a gun in case shit goes down. Mandalorian does that. Fun fact.
So he's got an entire town of people who are just like surrounding him, stopping him from going to his ship and taking the boy. And he engages in a shootout with all of the NPCs from the hub world.
Yeah, it's just like John Wick, where instead of all getting phone calls about John Wick, they all just get a button that starts beeping and they all know what it means.
Yeah, it's the fobs that were handed out to track Baby Yoda. It's really neat just how world building. It is serial in that watching each episode in order does give you insight onto them, and that's why there's a recap at the end of every episode. But it's little details like the fob that is kind of subtly reinforced. You see a fob, but it's never explained what it does. It's shown, like in episode 2, it's clear that the 3 or 4 Trandoshans that ambushed him back in episode 2 had fobs that are beeping near Baby Yoda. Sorry, we're in the middle of that. And it's cool. You just kind of pick up on these things in world build without anybody holding your hand.
And he kills a good amount of these people. He does pretty good for a one-man band. But let's face it, this is no job for just one Mandalorian.
So more Mandalorian appear, and they basically pull a TF2 Zerg Rush the objective on him after the one scout got there early.
You get to see what all the different kinds of Mandalorians do. One of them's got like a minigun.
Yeah, heavy weapons guy.
And then they've all got like jetpacks and like dual pistols and shit. It's just like every kind of iteration of Boba Fett you could imagine is on screen being awesome at the same time.
Yep, it's one of the things that was notably absent from The Mandalorian upon first kind of reveal of the character. He is the only Mandalorian, I think, that doesn't have a jetpack. I could be wrong. Sabine Wren from Rebels may not usually have one, but I swear she's used one before. Also, fuck Rebels. But anyway... it's just one of those things where he doesn't have a jetpack, and so we're like, well, what's wrong? Well, do Mandalorians not have jetpacks anymore? No, literally everyone else but him has a jetpack. That's just his thing.
It's implied that he's kind of like the new guy.
Or he was taken in when he was a child because his real parents were fucking executed.
And that's kind of a thing. Mandalorians are prone to adoption in their culture, and they just kind of bring them into the clan. I maintain that just a personal choice because he's skilled enough to become the bounty hunter. It's clear there are other Mandos that are just as skilled, if not more so than him. So he's one of the few with like Beskar pieces of armor.
And they hate on him for it. When he comes back with that, like, 40 million brick payday, he's just, like, got kilos to spare, and they're fronting on him. They're just like, hey, you think you're tough and shit? But at the end of the episode, when they really need to come in clutch, you start hearing the clicking. And they fly out, and they're like, do you know the way?
Oh, God.
Because Mandalorians are actually Ugandan knuckles in the series.
Yeah, this particular clan of Mando is really fucking hardcore compared to others. Like, the never take off helmet, that's not really been a thing in any lore for Mandalorians before. So the kind of assumption is because there were always different clans of Mando. Death Watch versus the fucking pacifist Clone Wars. Fuck Clone Wars Mandalore, specifically. Clone Wars is awesome, but Mandalore is not in that show. But the pacifist Mandos had a very different clan from the Death Watch, led by Pre Vizsla, who was voiced by Jon Favreau and creator of The Mandalorian, who also voices Heavy Weapons guy in this show, whose lore name is Paz Vizsla. So, direct descendant of the Death Watch line. I know, Austin looks like his eyes are glazing over.
I just cannot give a fuck once Star Wars names start coming out, and you talk about lore, and you talk about other works of media that aren't fucking movies, and they're all just this infinite hole of nerd shit from Star Wars. I cannot love this property as much as everybody else, because it's for babies.
That's fine. Star Wars is for everyone, you fucko.
That's what makes it bad. And
Rogue One is not for babies. Rogue One is basically what the expanded universe is, but it's a movie.
I think that at the end of the episode, he eventually gets away from everybody and flies off on a ship, which begins episode 4, which we heard the rumor that people didn't like episode 4. I'd heard it before Jackson said it today.
What?
Yeah,
people are saying it was a bad episode for some reason. I just saw it today.
Oh, God, I thought we were talking about A New Hope.
Oh, okay. God, no. Anyone who says A New Hope is bad needs to be kicked swiftly in the chest. A New Hope is like the second best Star Wars movie.
Yeah, so basically breaking out at the hour mark of this podcast, we're finally at episode 4, so we'll speed run this one. This is a standalone episode through and through.
Honestly, I think we could probably just break it off by 3 episodes, because episode 4 is a really good break point into a different act of the series.
Yeah, but then we'd make 3 podcasts on The Mandalorian.
Which gives us 3 podcasts.
You down?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, so that is our review of Act 1 of The Mandalorian.
Hey, let's get some clips of us saying the first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
First 3 episodes of...
Okay, Jackson.
The first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
The first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
The first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian.
All right, you guys are going to hear that throughout the entire thing as we edit out all of the references to us doing all 4 and just edit that clip in.
The first 4 episodes of The Mandolin.
The first 3 episodes of Mandalortha.
The first 3 episodes of The Mandy-Mand.
The first 3 episodes of Mongolian Treasures, the Mongol story.
The first 3 episodes of The Grim Adventures of Billy the Mandalorian.